But it's Monday, July 1st. This is week 7 of our 8-week series. We have had some wonderful people on the call, and our recordings have been played a tremendous amount of time. So we're so grateful for everyone's commitment, whether it's right now or in the hours to come, tonight or tomorrow. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce my very best friend from college. Everybody knows Miss Laura Stevens, but I get to brag about her for a minute anyway. She paved the way for over half the people on this call. She's the reason that I got to be introduced and say yes to Isagenix. But why it's so cool to have Laura speak on leadership tonight is because she is the ultimate leader in Isagenix. Her rank is 11-star platinum, and I find that very valuable so that you all understand the amount of abundance she's created in her life for her family. But she also has, between all of her business centers, 27 personally enrolled executives, which has to be a record for the company. So there's no better person to speak on leadership than someone who has developed that many leaders. And we all know there are many more executives she has developed that just happen to not be personally enrolled by her. She is on a long family summer road trip with her crew. She is 30 weeks pregnant with her, oh goodness, 5th child.
I know, it's like hard to even say out loud.
The forever friend that I would only hope all of you have in your life. So without further ado, Miss Laura Stevens, thank you for being with us, even from your car. Take it away.
You bet. Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate you inviting me. I'm going to kind of swoop over so I can at least see. I apologize for this appearance. We are, like Lindsay said, on a road trip, taking full advantage of having a mobile office. That being said, our 2-year-old isn't as excited about it as everyone else is. So it's been a challenging few days. We had our nanny and help go home, and we don't have family in Bend anymore. So it's just John and I for a few days until we head up to Spokane. So again, apologize for this appearance. We were just in a downpour getting dinner. But I'm here, and I am so honored to be asked. You guys, Lindsay and Allison, care so deeply about you and your success, and the fact that they went to this extent to put on these special calls for all of you, along with the leadership calls that they are a part of on Tuesday nights, just shows you how much they care. So I hope that you guys are sending them messages, texts, and you're making sure to play all of these recordings and really listen to what people have to say, because they want success for you, which is why they've gathered such a cool lineup of trainers and lots of different people to give lots of different perspectives. So cheers to you guys for leading from the front and organizing all of this. I am honored to be on tonight to chat with you a little bit about leadership. Linz, I'm going to kind of just give a bit of a spiel and then kind of what's on my heart with leadership. And then if you have questions, I would love for you to prompt me and ask me at the end. Does that sound okay? Yes. All right. So I'm just going to move forward. I was actually introduced to Isagenix 8 years ago now. Kelly Dickerhoof, who we are all grateful for, because if she did not say yes, we would not be here, came to me at a Memorial Day barbecue and said, Laura, we need to cleanse. We're going to get our energy back. And I was extremely skeptical. I have celiac disease, and just kind of said, no, thank you. I want nothing to do with that. I had my gluten-free nutrition down. I'd had 2 babies in less than 2 years. So my body was a little broken, but I had just become an aerobic instructor and was in fairly good shape, thought I was fine, didn't need it, and was extremely skeptical of network marketing. I was a business marketing major that graduated from Oregon State and a military spouse that was bombarded by network marketing in what I felt to be a very inauthentic, pushy way. And I never witnessed anyone's life truly change through network marketing. So fast forward, I said no to Kelly and watched her for 3 years. I actually even referred people to her. I have an Army wife friend who I referred to her. My sister joined her team at one point, and I was so happy for her. I loved watching her success, what she's been able to do for her and her family. It was amazing. Helping many of you along this journey was just so cool to see, but I never thought that I needed it myself. And then when I would watch her post, like I'll never forget, she always asked me, what stuck out in your mind when you were watching me? And I said there was one post where she was walking across stage with a massive check. And I remember turning to John and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's posting about money on social media. That's so awkward. but deep down in our hearts, that money would have done everything for us, because we were single military income. John's schedule was so rigorous that I was home with the kids. I tried to make extra money here and there, but nothing ever really stuck and made a bit of a difference. It was all just kind of things to keep me busy and give us a little tiny bit of extra. I started a sewing business. I taught myself how to become an aerobic instructor. I got really good at Craigslist and eBay and garage selling, and learned how to do the whole chalk paint, refurbish furniture thing. I did it all. And I even dressed up as an Iraqi woman and sat outside at John's military bases as he prepared for deployment. They would pay you like $13 an hour to put on a burqa and go sit. So I did that. I mean, I was so ready to get our student loan debt to go away, to get our credit card debt to go away, just to be able to travel and have the life of adventure I so desperately wanted. So I just tried all these things the whole time, thinking Isagenix wasn't for me. And then March 28th of 2014, I had gone to work. I almost joined Rodan & Fields, to be quite honest with you. I'm so glad I didn't. I don't even wash my face every day, so I don't even know why I thought about it. But the face wash made me break out. And so I was like, no, this is not for me. And then went to work to prove Kelly wrong, and that Isagenix wasn't the best network marketing company. And I kept coming back to, it is. I'd never seen anybody do what she'd done. And I knew that I trusted her opinion on nutrition. She was one of my friends that cared deeply about my gluten allergy and would always make me gluten-free food and cared, about being healthy and all of that. So I just decided to go for it. And when I went for it, John said, I will support you, but you better be all in. I'm going to move this so it's not such a glare. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means, but okay. So I just told Kelly, I'm in it. What do I do? And she said, get to executive. Because when Kelly had started, her first goal was executive. There was no 5-cycle bonus, crystal manager bonus, crystal director bonus. It was just the bonuses began at executive. So she said, hit executive. Here's your map. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And that's what I did. I ran as fast as I could to executive. I went to my very first event as a crystal manager. I went to ICU in Seattle. And I remember sitting there and seeing all these people walk across stage and think, oh my gosh, if they can do that, so can I. And so much shifted. I went home the next week and hit crystal director. And then about a week later was crystal executive. And Lindsay helped a part of that process. I reached out to friends and family and said, if you have anyone in your life, I would so appreciate any referrals. So we got her signed up at that point, but she wasn't in it for the journey yet, but was a supportive friend. And I think that's something that I learned early on inadvertently, was when you match your Isagenix goals to true life dreams and you communicate that clearly with people, more often than not, they will be so much more supportive than if you just talk about these shakes or these products, or stay in your comfort zone, just kind of dabbling in Isagenix here and there. I literally came out and said, look, I need something to change in my life. And if there's anything that you could do to support me, I like to give people 3 options, and I take my team through this now. But these are the 3 options that I gave the people that were closest to me. Please just pray for me, cheer me on, and be positive when I'm posting about this, because this is a big deal for my family. If you have any referrals or anyone in your life that I could help, I believe in this nutrition, I believe in this opportunity, and I know I can help people change their life. And then 3, if you'd love to join me, I know you're eating every day anyway, and this could totally bless you. So I give people those 3 options, and I'm teaching my team to, when they're at this stage and they're a new business builder, to give those 3 options as well. I say, pick your 20 best friends, closest friends, and Lindsay was one of those. So it happened, hit crystal executive, and then I shortly after went to a University in Action event with David Wood, which I highly recommend if you have any skepticism about network marketing, which I did. I had huge skepticism about network marketing, and I think I had the belief that I could do it. I'd always been able to do anything I put my mind to when I really believed in it. I'm a terrible employee. I was just telling my kids I got fired from Goodies, which is like an ice cream store downtown here, because I showed up late too much. And I also had 2 other jobs. I was working 3 jobs at the time, and 2 other ones made me more money. So I went with the jobs that made me more money. But we laughed about that a little bit. But yeah, so I don't know. Sorry, I got off track there. What was I saying? I didn't sleep last night.
The 3 options you give people.
Yes. So I do that. And then so yes, I knew that I could do this. I believed in network marketing. I believed in our company. Going to that first event set that off for me, putting these products in my body. I believed in these products. The one thing that kind of just was a hard thing for me was the network marketing industry. So I went to a University in Action event in Minneapolis, flew across the country right before John was getting deployed, and got to hear from David Wood. And I'll never forget, he said, you can look at all the stars in your rank, you can look at all the circles and like the golden and silver and all that, and that's all good. But really what will bring true depth, true life-changing income is how many stars you create. How many leaders do you rise up? And that hit so hard with me. Isagenix doesn't necessarily do anything when you create a new personally enrolled executive, other than, it goes on your rank. But to me, every time I created a new personally enrolled executive, not only did I help these people make at least $5,000 when bonuses were said and done, especially if we did it in the crystal timeframe, but that would solidify leadership and depth in my organization that would help my family reach my goals. So I love that. I say this all the time. The coolest thing about this business is you can never be successful without helping other people. The only way that I've been able to be as successful as we've been able to be is because we've helped thousands of people. And I love that. I can fall asleep at night sitting well with that. It's not like I'm stomping on people to get up. It's like, let's all rise up together. That is so cool. So right from the get-go, I set the tone. Let's go. Let's do this. Leadership is everything. I'm going to try to create as many leaders as possible. Your dreams are my dreams. I'm going to help you, but this is your first step as Crystal Executive. And that's what I do. Every single person that says they want this business, we print out their map to Crystal Executive, we put the date on there, and we go. Now, I have a lot of people that have said that they want that and they don't do it. Gotta love it, right? You may even be on the call as one of those people. And I don't discard them completely, because I know everyone's journey is so different. I recognize very clearly the stars that aligned when I started Isagenix, in that my sense of urgency was huge. John deployed very quickly after, so while I was super busy during the day, I had some extra time at night, so I would just work instead of being sad and lonely. I had moved around 7 times. I was naturally somebody that just liked people. I'm a woo, and I like to talk to people, and I had friends from all over the country. So these were things that my network was larger, even though my social media presence wasn't great. I had a lot of in-person relationships that allowed me to just kind of jumpstart. So yes, Barbie, timing is everything for everyone. And so what I never do is I never give up on someone, because it might be someone's timing now, 4, 5, 6 years into their journey. And this is what I've said to so many people. I was just talking to my friend Chelsea about this last night, is I'm like, everybody eats, everybody. Like, you are building an income producing asset with your groceries. So cool. But then this is the thing. If you as a leader aren't continually running your race, setting the tone for your teammates, doing your best to continue to move forward, whether your people are moving forward with you or not, always bringing in new, always bringing up new leaders, then you're all going to get stagnant together. And then maybe somebody is ready, but they look up to you and they're like, wait a minute, are they even doing this anymore? Or I wonder where they are in their journey. And so number one thing for leadership is to lead from the front and to be consistent. I can't say this enough. I know, again, life happens, moves, babies, deaths, divorces, sicknesses, all the things. They happen, and they will, because that's life. And you are allowed to take a breath and to have a space. But the worst thing you could ever do for your organization is to take a step back completely. So the best thing I would say, the number one thing that you can do in leadership is to stay consistent and then to continually lead from the front. Be the one showing up at events, be the one showing up on these calls, be the one hosting events in your home, be the one getting creative with virtual launches and challenges. And the person that works the hardest usually is the person that gets paid the most. So if you aren't happy with your income, figure it out and switch some things, because there's always more you can do. I love that. Like, you're never stuck in this business. There's so much you can do and so much you can get creative with. It's just, how bad do you want it? And what I'm finding now is that people are coming in that are like, you've been so consistent for 5 years, I'm still doing this, 30 weeks pregnant, schlepping across the country. We have a team anchored barbecue in Bend tomorrow night, a picnic. I have a business meeting later tonight after this call. So it's like, it doesn't stop. And because it's so fun for me to continue to help people move forward in their business, and then I take that consistency and leading from the front seriously, it's just what I do. It's become a habit. It's how I operate in this business, which I think has led to so much success. So I want to be realistic and all of that, because I think sometimes people look at our success and think, I wonder how they got there, or I think the biggest thing that I just put together recently is I do literally, when someone shares their dream with me, it's like I have this collection bucket in my heart, and their dream goes in that bucket. And I won't let that bucket go. I won't drop that bucket. And I hold that bucket, and that bucket gets heavy sometimes in leadership. If you've been listening to the Tuesday calls, leadership is not easy. But this bucket I carry so carefully, because I know that these are dreams that people trusted me with, and I never want to drop it, and I never want to stop, because they are all relying on me. And that's huge. So that moves me to my next step, and my next part in leadership is, you desperately need to take the time to know people's dreams. And I think so often we know their weight loss goal, or maybe you're somebody that's really good at talking about the products, so how they're feeling, how their cleanses are, whatever, but you haven't gone deeper. You haven't allowed yourself to, one, share your dream with them, or you haven't asked them the questions to bring out dreams in their heart as to what Isagenix, the business side, could fulfill. Because from the beginning, I always said, gosh, this nutrition is great, but if you could have a six-pack, the best muscles in the world, but still be in debt and be unhealthy and unhappy. So I knew that it was always both product and business. So that's always how I talk to people. And I just assume that anybody who wants to join me now has a little inkling in the back of their mind that they would like to try this as a business, because I've been so bold in talking about the business opportunity. And I've always been from day one. So you need to take the time to know their dreams, whether that's a welcome call, whether that's a coffee date, whether that's a few weeks in once they're feeling good, if they're not really ready to talk about that. But if you can become a private investigator, it will pay off. I promise you, because that's what I've done so many times, is I've gotten to know the people on my team, and then I'll say, okay, look, you have like what I said to Lindsay, I didn't approach it the best at the beginning. She had to deal with me kind of like going in and out of things. But when we finally got down to it, it was like, let's think about this. What if we could take at least like one day of your girls being in daycare away, or pay off your student loans that much faster? Or my friend Chelsea, who I was with last night, I was like, you love your job. I'm not asking you to leave, but you can never make more than your supervisor. Why wouldn't you want 2 six-figure incomes? What could that do for your family? Her husband was a bull rider. She can get him home. She can get the surgery he needs for his hip. I mean, all these things. It's like, let's do this. So I am not afraid to collect those things, to ask them the correct questions, so that it brings out, their dreams. Like, are you happy with your job? How's your marriage? How's your financial situation? Those are questions that people are like I can never ask someone. But I tell you, you guys, those are really relevant and extremely paralyzing stresses that probably the majority of the people in your life are going through. And it's been so cool to have these conversations and to plant a seed of hope in them attached with a string to the balloon of Isagenix. So we could say, okay, if your marriage is suffering, I know mine was, we didn't ever have time away together. We never had the funds to go on a vacation or anything. So for me to be able to say to somebody, look, let's do this. Let's, make some extra income with your grocery bit money. Let's help you feel good and have more fun with your husband because you're feeling good. But then let's also fund a dream trip wherever you always wanted to go. Let's do it. And then you start connecting those dots for them. And this becomes so much more than just slinging shakes or a network marketing business or something. So take the time to be a private investigator. One of my favorite tools, if you're not very good at pulling out those questions in people, is Kathy Coover's new associate interview. You can Google it. It's on Isagenix Business somewhere. I don't go through every question with everybody, but I do like to reference it and have it in front of me. So in case I get stumped or I'm like, oh, I don't know how to have these conversations with people, it's a great conversation starter to just get to know them a little bit. So then once they give you those dreams, and this is how I've helped so many of my leaders hit executive that maybe were manager the week. They had their executive goal on Sunday. They start out the week, they're still manager. They're like, what's going on? We connect the dream to the Isagenix goal. And then it becomes so much more than just some extra cash or a title. It's like, no, this is the first step to be able to bring your husband home, or this is the first step to being able to pay off your debt. Look at what it could do. It could catapult everything. I'm not afraid to call them. And I always say Wednesday of that run week, they're going to be like, everybody said no, and people aren't pulling through. And I'm just like, when there is a will, there is a way. And when you connect that dream and that heart feeling to this goal, it becomes so powerful, because that's what I did. Every time I was going for goals, I put John's face and my kids right there at the forefront and made it so that if I didn't hit my goal, I was disappointing them. So that helped me get out of my comfort zone, work harder than I've ever worked, be bolder than I ever was, things like that. And I've seen people become such incredible leaders, such incredible influencers and visionaries, and push their way to these goals once they connect the dots to their dream, and then they put that stuff in front. So I just think that that's something that's super important for you guys to think about when you're talking to people. Collect that bucket and take it seriously and hold those dreams, because having those dreams in your back pocket of not only yours, because I think so often it's like, what's in it for me, the what's in it for me syndrome, right? And we're like, gosh, I didn't hit my bonus. Gosh, I didn't hit this leadership pool, or I didn't win that contest or whatever. But when you start looking at all the dreams in that bucket, that's when things get fun, and that's when things keep rocking and rolling and can go even further than they've ever gone, because you take on, in a sense, the burden of everyone under you, and it pushes you to always go ahead and to be that leader and catapult your entire team and movement forward. That's at least how I've always looked at it. So I think, so number one, again, was to stay consistent and lead from the front. Number two is to get to know your people's dreams, and to just, in a sense, never give up on anybody. Timing is everything. There will be those people that join you maybe now, or who are product users that are waiting for you to reach out to them and just say, hey, some of my leaders that have been in for a long time, and I know some of you on this call have, I always, every about like 6 months to a year, like to remind people to go back through and do an open invite, maybe with an opportunity call attached, to just say, hey, if you ever wanted to get to know about the business side or listen to what it's done for me and some of my teammates, I would love to invite you to this call. And then they can listen in, because I think so often we write people off, write them off if they haven't wanted the products from the beginning. But if you can go to somebody and say, you have 25 people under you now, because I've been growing my team below you, and you've been ordering products every month, like, maybe you should just jump on this call and listen. And I found it to be so effective, and it pulls people out of the woodworks. And then that's something you can share with your team. So if they have people that are kind of in that place, you can pull them in too. So I think that's really important. And then let's see, number three, I think in terms of leadership, I was just going to give 3 points is, I know Lindsay probably has talked about this already, but to network with the right people and surround yourself with people who you would want on your team. I've had this conversation so often with people lately because they look at me and they're like, Laura, I have a team of people that while I care about them, I would never want to hang out with them. They don't remind me of myself. I feel like it's, incongruent with who I am. And I think so often what we do is Kelly and I talked about this so much when we were on our Shine Tour, and that's what kind of propelled her into doing more of that leadership stuff and wanting us to do these calls and stuff is people, let's say, on the leadership scale, you're a 3 or a 4 in the John Maxwell terminology, you're probably going to bring in 1s and 2s and maybe some 3s into your business. So it's up to you to create a great environment around you of people that you would want to pull from to have on your team, because there will be a point in this business that you will need to meet new people. And how are you meeting those people? And who are you bringing into your network in your circle? I've watched, gosh, who's so good at that is Audrey and James McLeod. They are so intentional, and she's so funny. She'll talk about her avatar. She's a name for her and everything. And what Janie Elo told me to do early on, which was so helpful for me, is to pick 5 to 10 characteristics of what I desperately wanted in people on my team. And I put that on my mirror. And then when I was going throughout my day, or I was trying a new Bible study, or I was trying a new gym, before I left that morning, I would just pray over or think about those qualities. And then it was literally like, I would go out and God would put these little stars above people's heads. And it's like, that is who I would want on my team. That is who I'm going to have an intentional friendship with. Now, this is the coolest thing about this business. When you live out loud on social media and you just do your products day to day, and you're not ashamed to say what you do, there's very few times I've ever had to be super pushy with people. I've just continued on my journey, but brought them in and built great friendships, regardless if they join me right away or not. So you have to be willing to there will be some seasons in your business that you will be networking while you're building, and that's okay. And it might move a little bit slower, but the relationships and the connections are going to be much more genuine and much more real, and that will lead to great business builders in your organization. I know when I moved to Omaha, it was like, okay, here we go, fresh start. I really just would go to these Bible studies and would go to coffee dates and would make friends without any agenda of Isagenix in my mind, because I know deep in my heart, this is the best gift that I could give to any single person, but I needed friends at that time. So I went to work making those friendships and making those connections. And then it started again, because I just live out loud and do everything. I would add everyone on social media. I would have my shaker bottle at all the moms groups. People ask what I do. And they would start to see. And then so the people started to trickle in. And then I took the time as a leader to start doing the tastings at my house, the Christmas parties, the coffees, the business lunches. And you guys, at the very beginning with my Omaha team, that was like 2 people. It wasn't like I had this massive group. Well, I had like this massive team of 40,000 around the country. My Omaha team was 2. But I wanted to create those exclusive events that started to build our community. And I knew that if I could get with them face to face, that would be helpful. So I think there's something to say, while social media is amazing and I will never stop posting on it, and it has helped connect me to so many amazing people, the bread and butter of what we do still comes from meeting people in person. And they may end up wanting to join you or not, or they might refer, or whatever. But as a leader, you need to continually be leading from the front in that expanding your network. And then what are you doing to set the tone for your community? Because I see so many people spending so much time having fun and doing all these things with their friends and these people, and they get really comfortable. And it's kind of like, okay, but are these friends pushing you forward, and are you all on the same track to move forward in your business? Or are they feel good friends that you feel like you have to spend time with? Or I had a chat with my friend Holly about that today, because she's like, I just want more business builders, Laura. What do you do? And I'm like, you're careful about who you give your time to. Why is it the end of the day the majority of my friends are in Isagenix? Because that's who I want to surround myself with, people that will lift me up, encourage me. It's not that I discard other people per se. I promise you that's not the case. But But at a certain point, my family's dreams and goals and the lives that I want to change, we only have so much time in the day. I have 4 kids. I have a husband I need to have time. I have a team I need to, spend time with. And so if I'm taking time out of my day to spend time with people, I'm going to really surround myself with my team. And that's what I love, is creating that fellowship and community, especially in person, makes it just so special. So my hope is, we're going to be leaving Omaha, is that, and I'm watching these girls do it this summer already. They have book clubs together, they're pool dates, like they're doing that. They're building that community even without me there now, because we set that tone for that. So how are you showing up as a leader? Are you planning things, celebration for your teammates? Are you taking time to personally invite people to celebration for, within your team? Are you, again, hosting the launches, the tastings, getting creative? Are you driving and traveling to people that are worthy of your time, because you want to be there in person to really catapult and jumpstart their business? I see so many people that are like, oh, she's like an hour away. And I'm like, what? I would drive like 5 hours easily to meet one person for coffee when I was first starting, because that was just the fire in my belly. I knew that if I could get in front of somebody and look in their eyes and see their heart and add their dreams to my bucket and give them the Map to Crystal executive and say, look what's on the table for you, let's go, it was so much more effective than trying to do that over the phone. So if you have people in driving distance, gosh, you guys, make that sacrifice, get some gas money, throw on a podcast and go love on some people, because it's so powerful to do that in person. It's really how we built so strongly at the beginning. And honestly, it's what we've done this entire trip. I did a barbecue in Boise. We had coffee dates in Boise. I'm doing it here. We're doing it in Spokane. I mean, I strategically plan my travel most of the time so I can bless, help, and connect people on my team. And it really pays off. So I don't know. I feel like I've gone on and on. Let's review. Point 1 was lead from the front and stay consistent. Point 2 is to know your team's dreams and to take them seriously and to work with all those dreams in mind. And then point 3 was to continue to show up as a leader in how you're networking in the community you're building locally and in what you're doing to connect and build community within your team. Is that helpful?
So helpful, Laura. Thank you. I want to add on to networking with the right people, because I learned that from you, and I was lucky enough to learn that from you years ago. And to even furthermore network up. So find those people that almost intimidate you. Find the people that are so well connected or influential or smarter, if you want to call it that, whatever it may be. Finding such value in those people rather than being afraid of them. Because I was very good at letting people intimidate me for a very big portion of my life, and realizing that those are the people that can bring so much abundance to your life and you to them, right? We have such a gift to offer that conviction is really huge. And I love your dream bucket. That was a very good analogy. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's powerful. And you're the ultimate drawing those dreams out, but you also have made it us all realize that we're all capable of it, and that there's help. We can find questions online. We can, again, use the interview. There's so many things that can help us become good at it too. So thank you so much for your time. Can you guys just appreciate Laura can sit in a car and rattle all of these tangible, valuable things off in 30 minutes that can change our entire businesses without preparation or notes? You have such a gift. And I think, does anybody have a question for Laura? If you do, quickly unmute yourself and holler out. Laura, there's no questions in the chat box, just comments. So don't worry about answering questions there. Going once. We had about 60 people on, Laura, so thank you so much. I know many more will watch the recording. I'll get it uploaded right away to YouTube and sent right over to you. Oh, we've got one new message. Nope, okay. Just a bunch of thank yous. Laura, I appreciate you. Have fun working tonight. She's going to work more.
Yep, we have some new leaders in Bend to connect with. So I'm excited to meet them.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah. We love you so much. We appreciate you. And sorry.
Love you guys. Thank you. Nice to see your faces.
Go, Laura. You can unmute if you want or wave. Thanks, sweetie. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.